Hello. So I'm feeling great. I hope you're feeling great too. You know, today I am going to take you through the process of making my Dick-up smoothie. Now, the main reason I got inspired to do that this week are the messages that you guys are sending me. Okay? So now the first message that inspired me bright and early Monday morning came from Royce. Now, here's the thing. The reason that we have such success with the smoothie recipes is because they're based off of clinically proven strategies of food. And I want to reiterate, as you're watching Hulu and all these things, and you're seeing more and more commercials about logging on, seeing a doctor, and then sending you some prescription medication in the mail, I want you to know that you can heal from within, and that food is the ultimate medicine and can make the biggest difference in the world. The biggest difference in the world. For instance, Royce sends me this message the other day, and you know, I got into this to keep families together. And I've always said that, whether it was when I first finished medical school or whatever, it was about rebuilding families, keeping families together, and doing what I can to educate. And so through this process of seeing, as I'm giving out free samples of all of these great meds that come on the market, and I'm seeing those guys not do very well, I knew there had to be another way. So when I get messages like this from gentlemen that I haven't even met, that just our energies are connecting through this screen and through the things that I do here, it changes my life just as much as it changes yours. So Royce sends me this message, and I wake up to it. Thank you for changing my life. Look at his beautiful baby boy. He's had his first baby at the age of 45. And he attributes it to the smoothie recipes as being a big part of the changes that he made in order to make this happen. Okay? So when I say this, it's kind of like, you know, immediately, you know, I sent the message to my mom because my mom is kind of a skeptic. And so immediately it changes the flow of my day, right? And he goes on to tell me about how he's using the recipe. He's doing Hindu squats. You know, Hindu squats are basically going to be very similar to sexual kung fu and jelqing and testicular massage, right? We're waking up these areas that maybe have fallen asleep, that maybe aren't doing the things that we want them to do, and we're healing from within. And I love that. So Royce, and for the rest of you who have these great stories of the way that the smoothies have impacted you, please send them to me. And I know you're waiting for the printed copy, but I tell you, I want 2.0 to be that much more magnificent. So the 2.0 actually goes into why all of these recipes work. And I'm going to get to my famous, fabulous Dick-up smoothie. I'm going to make it here because I want you to have the ingredients and for you to understand why it's working so well, right? And then Robert messages me that basically he's been using the free smoothie, you know, the original Erection Smoothie. If you haven't watched that video, I put a link to it below so that you can actually go back and get the recipe for the Erection Smoothie. He's having such amazing results from that, but he knows that it's important to vary it up, switch it up. Otherwise, it gets stagnant, or eating too much kale, for instance, can actually cause issues with your hormones. So it's so important that we have these conversations. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring you the Dick-up smoothie. And it's delicious. It's actually my favorite recipe in the smoothie recipe book, and it's named the Dick-up smoothie because you can actually use it the day of to help kind of stimulate things and get things flowing, just like the Erection Smoothie. Okay, so you've probably gotten the free Erection Smoothie, and if you haven't, there's a video link below for you to watch the video, and it'll tell you how to get this smoothie. But in terms of the ingredients that you're going to need now for the Dick-up smoothie, I want you to get some basil, some beets, lemon juice. Don't worry, it tastes good. Don't worry. People see beets and they get nervous. Raspberries, watermelon, chia seeds, and I always put a little bit of extra spinach. You should do too. We can never go wrong with leafy greens. You can add fenugreek for like a little testosterone surge. Honey And as we'll go through these, and I'm making more of these, you'll understand that honey is not just for sweetening. Honey has a lot of clinical value. It's an antihypertensive. It can help with blood pressure. It's anti-cholesterolemic. It can help lower your cholesterol. It's an antibiotic. It actually can kill bacteria. It's an anti-inflammatory component. And we're using it a lot in diabetics, believe it or not, to help regulate blood sugar, along with cinnamon. So for those of you who are diabetic or almost diabetic, adding a bunch of cinnamon to anything with sugar in it is going to help your body better be able to deal with that sugar that's in there. So adding cinnamon is never ever really a bad thing, right? So I just made my smoothie, my Dick-up smoothie. So I'm going to walk you through the process, and we're going to talk about some of these amazing ingredients, right? So as you know already, there are two different pathways for nitric oxide production, right? We can either make it in our blood vessels, well, three actually, because we talked about breathing. Deep breathing through the nasal passages helps boost nitric oxide production. Our blood vessels make nitric oxide, and as we age, our blood vessels have less and less ability to do so, right? And then there's the pathway that we use that's going to use L-arginine and L-citrulline to actually make nitric oxide through what we're actually eating, or nitrates, right? So what we're doing in the Dick-up smoothie in particular is that we are actually targeting two different pathways to make nitric oxide, right? So first what we're going to do, I want you to understand those two different pathways, and then I want to talk a little bit about watermelon. Some of you are allergic to watermelon and have messaged me. It's kind of like, well, I can't really do watermelon, but what can I do as a substitute? A great substitute for you if you are allergic to watermelon is actually cucumber. But this deliciously juicy red fruit is loaded with L-citrulline. L-citrulline and L-arginine work together to actually boost nitric oxide production, right? And so this can actually help with on-demand stiffness. You often, if you haven't yet heard me talk about the clinical nature of a gentleman, and this is a case study that's published, a gentleman who was juicing watermelon and actually decided, one doctor told him to juice watermelon, the other doctor said to take a Viagra, and before you know it, he's in the emergency room because the two acted synergistically together to cause what was caused priapism. So that doesn't happen very often, but it can. And it speaks volumes to the ability to these substances and these nutrients in food to do just that, okay? So, you know what? On the recipe, I forgot to add that we're going to actually add some frozen banana in there too. So, as we're making it, so the watermelon is super important. Now, people sleep on basil. Basil, to me, has one of those fantastic tastes. Like I can eat as much basil as, I can eat pesto all the time. But basil has been used for centuries as a type of treatment for erectile issues. Basil has such a strong medicinal profile that it actually is not only anti-inflammatory, but it seems to actually improve blood flow. So don't leave out the basil. Basil has a distinct taste, but it's not a strong taste if you're not familiar with it, and it can actually be quite delicious, right? So basil is an important part of it. Now, if you look here too, you'll see up here, of course, beets. Now, some of you are adding beetroot powder and beets to things, which is fantastic. Beets have a high level of nitrates in it. And the interesting thing about beets are that if you're going to buy organic beets, they're going to have less nitrates available for you than if you buy regular ones. So this is the only time you'll hear me say, you don't have to really worry about going organic here, because our goal is to boost nitric oxide levels through nitrates. Now you'll also see here chia seeds. These are not flax seeds. Flax seeds can actually help suppress testosterone. So I try not to overdo it on flax seeds in smoothies unless we're talking about maybe this is for polycystic ovarian syndrome in women or whatever. But for guys, generally speaking, we want to keep flax seeds to a minimum because they can impair that. So these are chia seeds, and chia seeds actually help prolong hydration. They help you kind of keep your electrolytes up, but they also help you feel fuller longer. But they're rich in zinc. And you know, zinc is not only necessary for like healing, but it's necessary for sperm cells to be produced. And zinc is an important part of the reproductive cycle for men, right? So testosterone requires vitamins, it requires fatty acids, proteins, and all these things, and omega-3 fatty acids, right? And chia seeds are very rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are crucial, extremely crucial for the synthesis of testosterone, right? And then if you notice, like we got raspberries here. Now, raspberries kind of helped cut the beet taste here. But you know, it's got polyphenols in it too. You can actually even substitute raspberries for blackberries and have a very similar result. Blackberries or blueberries, not strawberries though. Strawberries aren't going to help us much in this department. And then of course I got some green leafy vegetables here. I always add extra greens to any smoothie I'm going to make because I know that it's going to be a positive thing, especially spinach because it's packed with nitrates. So we got our ingredients here, right? You got your watermelon, you got your basil, you got your beets, you got your chia seeds, you got your raspberries, you got your green leafies, and you've got a frozen banana. So when your bananas are starting to go bad, put them in a Ziploc, put them in the freezer, and let them freeze up, and they make for great smoothies. That way you don't have to use as much ice. So I got my frozen banana here, and now I'm going to squeeze some lemon juice. Lemon juice helps us in this process of detoxification, but I also like a little tardiness. So you'll notice in my smoothie recipes, I'm always adding a half a lemon. You can add less if you need to, right? So the best part about this smoothie, and I made mine beforehand, so I'm gonna take a sip. To me, is that the beet taste is not overwhelming. The watermelon and the raspberries actually kind of help to kind of mellow the taste out, right? So this particular smoothie, even with the banana, now banana has bromelain in it, and bromelain is helpful for blood flow, right? So this is all about increasing blood flow, giving us testosterone, right? Oh, look at this. Right? Look at that. It's so good. Look at this. I can't believe I did this, but I take it, and you can't really see it, but I actually ate off the So now what I want you to do with your Dick-up smoothie is what you're going to do is you're going to kind of integrate this into your daily regimen. So what I want you to actually do is consider that when you're breaking your fast in the morning, use my intermittent fasting guide that's available in the bundle. Most of you have gotten that by now, to actually help you push your first meal out as far as possible and break your fast with a Dick-up smoothie, the Vitality smoothie, but my personal favorite is the Dick-up smoothie for obvious reasons, and particularly because this is the one that I get the biggest feedback from in terms of getting a boost for the D, right? And that's ultimately what our goal is here. So just to kind of review again our ingredients: the basil, the beets, the lemon juice, the raspberries, watermelon, chia seeds, the half a frozen banana. Now, I want to reiterate too that bananas are also important because they can actually help calm you. This phallic-shaped fruit actually is great for anxiety. So, you know, if you're ever really feeling very anxious or your kids are feeling anxious, a little bit of banana with a little bit of cinnamon on it goes a really long way because they contain tryptophan, and tryptophan is a protein that can actually be converted into some of the happier hormones, right? So I hope this helps. Robert, I wanted to make sure that I did this for you because Robert has been using the Erection Smoothie for a really long time now, and he's ready to switch and go on to something else. And then for those of you who are, you know, who haven't gotten your smoothie recipe book and are ready to take things to the next level, head over to drrachaelinstitute.com/smoothie recipes. I tell you, the smoothie recipes mixed with the bundles, I mean, these gentlemen are having amazing results, and I want you to have very similar results. So I'm going to be doing smoothies periodically on here for you guys. You know, those of you who haven't bought the recipe book and you want a new recipe every now and then, I encourage you to let's rotate these smoothies because keep in mind, we got to rotate our vegetables and our fruit because too much of a good thing sometimes causes more trouble than anything else, okay? So there it is. That's the recipe for the Dick-up smoothie. Get to it. I want to hear your results. Do me a favor. Post a picture of your Dick-up smoothie or your personal blend of smoothie that's been helping you, just like it's been helping Robert or just like it's been helping Royce, and tag me in the post, right? If you're going on Instagram, it's at Dr. Rachael. If you're on Facebook, at me, Dr. Rachael Ross, so that I can kind of know how these results are going to be panning out. And then for people like Royce, who actually sent me not only this fantastic testimonial, but sent me a picture of a baby boy that he thinks that I've had some impact in, he's going to get an official copy of the volume 2.0 of the smoothie recipe book. So please, 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 you guys, please know that medicine is not the only way to get the D headed in the right direction, right? And as a matter of fact, those medications actually over time will stop working, and then you're stuck looking around like, well, what happened and what do I do now? So start now. Start working on this now so that it is not a problem later on, and I will see you in a little bit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take a hiccup and I'll be right back to answer your questions. See ya.